Influencer Ashlee Jenae Robinson was on the vacation of a lifetime in Zanzibar off the coast of Tanzania. She had just celebrated her birthday. Social media posts show she got engaged on this very trip. But this morning, her death is under investigation and her family has questions.
My money's still on the husband, and not because he's white, but because this was her birthday trip. She went and got a new wig, got her lashes did, nails did, toes did, picked out outfits, and created an itinerary for her birthday. She had no idea that this man was going to propose to her in such a beautiful place like Africa. She would have been ecstatic. It's my birthday and my man is proposing to me? Hell yeah. I do not feel like anywhere in her mind it would have been, it's my birthday, my man is here, he didn't propose to me. This is a great time to just end it all.
You know, ever since she was a beacon of light. You know, she had being on, like it's like being in the camera. She was an influencer. You know, she loved her family.
She loved her family.
She loved her family.
The autopsy is done. Harry Robinson, Ashlee's father, went straight to Washington, D.C., pushing hard for U.S. officials to connect with authorities in Tanzania. That pressure actually worked, and now officials may finally be in contact. The family was told their daughter's autopsy was completed on Tuesday, and that should have been the turning point, but it wasn't. Because here's the reality. The family still hasn't gotten the results.
The autopsy is complete. Harry Robinson, Ashlee's father, traveled to Washington, D.C. He pushed U.S. officials to establish communication with authorities in Tanzania. That outreach worked. Officials made contact. And the family was informed that the autopsy on their daughter's body had been completed on Tuesday. That should be the moment that changed everything. It wasn't, because the family has still not received the results. We have only been told the investigation remains ongoing. That is where Ashlee Robinson's family is right now, in a holding pattern, waiting.
All they've been told is that the investigation is still ongoing, and that's where things stand right now. They're stuck waiting, stuck in this painful pause while answers sit somewhere out of reach on the other side of the world. Think about that for a second. April 9th was the day they found out their daughter had passed, and they didn't even hear it directly from the man who was right there at the same resort when she was found. 8 long days have passed since then.
We're not too sure what happened. That's what we're trying to find out. I got 2 emails today from the embassy in Zanzibar. And they said the investigation is still ongoing. That we have not determined the cause of death yet at all. An investigation is still ongoing and still pending right now. So there has nothing official has been released. That's what we're trying to find out. We just want answers.
Ashlee Robinson, known online as Ashlee Jenae, 31 years old, South Jersey background, Miami lifestyle, over 100,000 followers watching her live out her dream life. Gone after being found unresponsive in a room at the Zanzibar resort and later passing in a hospital in Zanzibar. 8 days and still no autopsy results. 8 days and Joe McCann, the man who proposed to her just 4 days before she passed, has stayed completely silent.
I think it's very odd that our daughter is traveling with Joe and we don't hear anything from Joe. To me, that's very odd. And initial call that she got from Joe was 11 hours after something had transpired in the room. And that's very odd. 11 hours later,
11 hours.
Something had transpired and Joe just relayed to Yolanda that Ashlee was okay and she was stable and she was okay and don't worry about it.
But that she was at the hospital.
Yes. 11 hours later.
This is the same man who called the family 11 hours later saying she was stable when she wasn't. And since then, no contact, no statement, nothing. 8 days, and this family is not backing down. They're pushing harder than ever for the truth. The autopsy is officially complete. Ashlee Robinson's family got that confirmation through the same channel Harry Robinson fought to open after pushing U.S. officials during his trip to Washington, D.C. to connect with authorities in Tanzania.
And now let's get to the very latest from the family of a South Jersey influencer found dead in Africa over the weekend.
The family of Ashlee Robinson wants answers. They say the story just doesn't add up. Police say she was found unconscious in a luxury villa in Zanzibar and later pronounced dead at a hospital.
Ashlee Robinson's family calls her death suspicious and says there is an active investigation into the circumstances. But police in Zanzibar, where she was found, say she died by after a misunderstanding with her fiancé. Investigators are questioning him and say his passport has been suspended.
They were told the autopsy was finished on Tuesday, April 15th. But here's the part that hits hard. They were not told the results. Harry Robinson spoke directly to TMZ and made it clear the family has received no findings, no official ruling, no confirmed cause of death, just one repeated line. The investigation is still ongoing. So right now, after 8 long days, this is all the people closest to Ashlee know about what happened to her. Almost nothing. No clarity, no closure, just silence where answers should be. There is one more detail that's now been confirmed, and it's a big one.
Influencer from New Jersey, they want answers after authorities in East Africa announced Ashlee Robinson died in Zanzibar this past weekend. The 31-year-old was there with her fiancé. Police say she was found unconscious in her luxury villa and later was pronounced dead at a hospital.
For influencer Ashlee Robinson, known to tens of thousands of her followers as Ashlee Jenae, a birthday trip to a tropical paradise was supposed to be the pinnacle of a lifestyle built on travel and exploration.
The U.S. Embassy in Tanzania sent a coroner to assist local authorities during the autopsy. That means this wasn't handled quietly or casually. This had official U.S. involvement from the inside. Think about that. A U.S. government coroner was physically in the room. U.S. officials had direct visibility into what was found. And yet, those results still haven't been released publicly, and more importantly, they haven't been shared with Ashlee's own family.
There has been no communication here.
Was there any footage? Did you look at the footage? Did you see the footage? These are things that's very important to us. These are things that can clear everything up. It gives us a timeline. It lets us know what happened. We have not seen or heard or even anything about any kind of footage, surveillance. These are things that we need to know.
The case is still officially open. No charges, no confirmed cause of death, no autopsy report, no toxicology results. Nothing made public. What the family is left with is painfully simple. The autopsy is done and they are still waiting. And since part 1 dropped, even more details have started coming out, adding new layers to this already troubling situation. Now here's where things take a sharper turn because new details have come out and they matter more than anything we've heard so far. Major outlets like CBS News, NBC News, The Washington Times, and ABC News have all confirmed key pieces of what went down at the Zuri Zanzibar resort in the days before Ashlee Robinson passed. Earlier reports made it sound like this was just one argument on April 8th. One bad moment. But that's not what police are saying now. According to information confirmed to CBS News, witness accounts describe something much bigger. The couple checked into the resort on April 4th, and from that point on, there were repeated arguments, constant tension building day after day until April 8th when hotel staff finally stepped in and separated them. That's not a one-time situation, that's a pattern. And it completely changes how this timeline looks. This wasn't just a single night gone wrong in a vacation setting. This was ongoing conflict that multiple people noticed. And that raises a serious question the family has been asking from the start. If this was happening over several days and witnesses saw it and staff eventually intervened, what did the hotel know and when did they know it? Now here's another detail that stands out confirmed by CBS News, and it adds even more weight to the situation. Police reports state that a hotel worker found Ashlee unresponsive in a closet with a belt around her neck. Not in the open, not somewhere easily visible, but inside a closet. That detail changes the scene entirely. This wasn't something immediately visible from the doorway or main room. The hotel worker had to find her there, specifically in that space. And this isn't speculation. This is documented in official police reporting shared with CBS News. Every one of these details now feeds into what the autopsy is supposed to clarify, or possibly make even more complicated. And on top of that, CBS News has also confirmed new information about the timing of McCann's actions, adding even more pressure to an already intense situation. Now this next part raises even more questions, and the timeline here is hard to ignore. Joseph Isaac McCann, 45 years old, was formally questioned by police on Monday, April 13th. That's 4 days after Ashlee Robinson passed on April 9th. Not immediately. 4 full days later. His passport was taken, and he remains in Tanzania while the investigation continues. Still, no charges have been filed, and police have said he is not currently suspected of wrongdoing. He hasn't made a single public statement. Ashlee's mother, Yolanda Andress, shared a very detailed account with CBS News about that phone call, the one that changed everything. She said, "He told me that Ashlee did something to herself and she was being taken to the hospital, and he told me she was stable. But when she pushed for answers and asked what actually happened, the timeline didn't line up. She had to ask him directly when this all happened. And his answer? He said it had been 11 hours earlier. 11 hours had already passed before he made that call. That's not something the family guessed. That's what he told her himself when she pressed him for clarity." Then hours later, the hotel contacted the family again, but this time the message was devastating. Their daughter was gone. The family's pain is now being heard from more voices. In part one, we heard from Ashlee's parents, Yolanda Andress and Harry Robinson. Now her sister, Alyssa Andress, has stepped forward and spoken publicly to NBC News for the first time since Ashlee passed. And what she said cuts straight through everything. None of this makes sense. That's why we're just so lost. And that's why we just want answers. That confusion, that frustration, it's coming from a place of not knowing what really happened. Alyssa also shared how Ashlee seemed in those final days, especially around the engagement and birthday trip. She described her as happy, present, and excited about where she was in life. The posts, the moments, photos with giraffes, rose petals, everything she shared, painted a picture of someone who felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. She wasn't carrying anything heavy or hidden into that trip. She wasn't struggling in silence. By every account, Ashlee was stepping into something new, something exciting. This was a fresh chapter in her life, not an ending anyone saw coming. The family's official Instagram statement posted on Sunday, April 12th, put their pain into words that stuck with people who read it. They said, "Nothing about this loss feels real. The suddenness, the unanswered questions, and the distance from home have made this tragedy even more overwhelming for our family." That line, the distance from home, it says everything without saying too much. Because right now, Ashlee Robinson is still in Tanzania. Her family hasn't been able to bring her home. They can't move forward until the autopsy process is fully complete and her remains are cleared to return. So while the investigation continues, they are left waiting across an ocean, stuck in a situation no family should have to face. And think about everything happening at once. The results still haven't been shared, the investigation is still open, and the man who was there has not spoken publicly. All of it combined with that distance makes this even heavier. Harry Robinson's actions in the days after his daughter passed stand out in a major way, even if not everyone is talking about it. He went to Washington, D.C. himself, going straight to the U.S. Embassy, pushing for real answers, not just sympathy, not just quiet monitoring from afar. He said it plainly when speaking to reporters. "No one wants to talk to us. Just let us know what happened. That's the only thing we want to know is the truth." That wasn't said casually. That came after a full day of trying to reach anyone in authority who could give even a piece of clarity about what happened to his daughter in Tanzania. That trip to Washington, D.C. actually led to movement. U.S. officials made contact with authorities in Tanzania, and the family was finally told the autopsy had been completed. A U.S. Embassy coroner was even sent in to assist with the examination. That's not small. That's real pressure creating real action. It shows just how far a father pushed when he refused to accept silence. But even with all of that, the results still haven't been given to the family. So despite progress on paper, the most important answers are still missing, and Harry Robinson is not backing down. Now the family is preparing to take things even further. They've announced plans to travel to Zanzibar themselves, to be physically present in the place where their daughter passed. Because at this point, they're not getting answers through calls or official channels, so they're going straight to the source. Think about what that really involves. This is a family from South Jersey and Delaware now trying to organize a trip across the world to East Africa, a place where they don't know the system, the process, or even the language fluently, all while an active investigation into their daughter's death is still ongoing. To make that possible, A GoFundMe was set up with a $50,000 goal, and by April 15th, it had already raised over $40,000. That support shows how many people are paying attention, but the family has made it clear they don't want that attention to fade. They want Ashlee's name to keep being heard. There's also another angle here that stands out because it's specific and it should be verifiable. The Zuri Zanzibar is a luxury resort. Places like that don't operate without surveillance. Cameras cover entrances, hallways, walkways, reception areas. There's usually footage tracking movement all across the property. Harry Robinson said it plainly. There's cameras everywhere at a resort, and that will match the timeline. And that statement raises a major point, because if that footage exists, then there's a record somewhere that could either confirm or challenge everything that's been said so far. He's right, and this is where things get very real. If security footage from the Zuri Zanzibar resort exists and is still intact, it could lay out the timeline step by step. It could show exactly when McCann left the villa after they were separated, if he ever came back, and what staff were doing during that critical window. It could also reveal something even bigger, whether anyone else entered or exited any of the villas connected to this situation. That kind of footage doesn't just add detail. It could confirm or challenge everything that's been said so far. Tanzanian investigators have had access to the resort since April 9th. But here's the issue. There's been no public confirmation about whether that footage has been reviewed, secured, or preserved as evidence. And that silence is exactly why the family is now demanding its release. That request isn't extreme, and it's not out of line. It's a direct, reasonable ask from a family that's been given a version of events and is now asking to see the actual evidence behind it. Ashlee's father said it clearly. Just do the investigation and let us know. That's it. Camera footage, autopsy results, a clear timeline, basic answers to very serious questions. Now look at the other side of this. 8 days have passed, and in those 8 days, Joe McCann has not made a public statement, has not contacted Ashlee Robinson's family, and has not spoken to the media in any visible way. Major outlets like ABC News, CBS News, NBC News, and others have all confirmed they reached out to him for comment, and none have received a response. No attorney has stepped forward publicly on his behalf either. What is confirmed is this: his passport has been taken, and he remains in Tanzania as part of an active investigation, being questioned as a witness. Meanwhile, the Deputy Director of Investigations in Zanzibar declined to go into detail when asked by journalists, saying only that the investigation is still ongoing. This silence from McCann, from investigators, from anyone who was close to what happened at that resort, is exactly what Ashlee's family has been trying to break for 8 long days. And it's not just frustrating, it's painful, because every unanswered question keeps them stuck in the same place. But here's something important. The family hasn't rushed to accuse anyone. Their stance has been steady and clear. Yolanda Andres said it directly to CBS News when asked if she believes McCann was responsible. "We don't know what went on." And Harry Robinson added, "We just want transparency. That's it. No claims, no conclusions, just a demand for the truth." And the questions they're asking, they're not extreme. They're basic human questions that anyone would ask in this situation. Where were you when she was found? Why did 11 hours pass before a call was made? Why say she was stable? Why did the family hear about her passing from the hotel instead of you? What actually happened during those days at the resort when witnesses say there were repeated arguments? And what information hasn't been shared yet? Those questions aren't accusations. They're gaps that need to be filled. So far, Joe McCann hasn't answered any of them. No statement, no explanation, nothing made public. Now everything is pointing toward one major piece of evidence: the autopsy results. When those are finally released, and they could shape the entire direction of this case. Because forensic pathology doesn't deal in guesses. It deals in medical facts. It can determine a cause of death based on physical evidence, not assumptions or early reports. It can show whether injuries match a certain explanation or don't match at all. It can also include toxicology results, revealing what was in Ashlee's system at the time, and whether anything there could help explain what happened in those final hours. All of that information has the potential to either confirm the current narrative or raise even more serious questions. The autopsy can also help establish timing, when injuries may have happened, and whether that lines up with the sequence of events that's been described so far. That kind of detail matters because it either supports the current version of events or starts to break it apart. And here's another key layer. The U.S. Embassy didn't just observe from a distance. They sent their own coroner. That means a U.S. medical professional was present for or directly involved in the examination of Ashlee Robinson's body. Whatever that coroner found, whether it lines up with Tanzanian officials or raises differences, will play a role in how the United States responds to this case moving forward. That's not a small detail, that's major involvement. Right now, the investigation in Tanzania is still active. There is no officially confirmed cause of death. Any early police statements are still considered preliminary, which means they can change depending on what the medical findings actually show. So the situation hasn't settled. It's still open, still shifting. The autopsy is complete, but until those results are released, everything is still in question. And when those results finally come out, this case could move toward answers or toward something that demands even deeper investigation. But beyond the investigation itself, there's another side to this story that can't be ignored. The family and what they've done in just 8 days without support, without access, and without clear answers from the people closest to what happened. Harry Robinson didn't sit still. He drove to Washington, D.C. and pushed until officials took action. He helped get a U.S. coroner involved and opened communication that wasn't there before. And now he's preparing to travel to Tanzania himself to keep pushing for answers. Yolanda Andres has been just as relentless, speaking with multiple outlets like CBS News, TMZ, Time, and Fox 29. Each time she's repeated the same message with a level of determination that reflects the reality she's living. A mother searching for answers since April 9th, without real rest and without real closure. She was loved. She was not just going to be discarded and forgotten about. Those words hit hard, and they've stayed with people. This week, Alyssa Andress stepped forward and gave her first national interview to NBC News, adding her voice to a growing wave of people refusing to let Ashlee's story disappear. More than 100,000 followers have been sharing Ashlee's name every single day, and the GoFundMe, now over $40,000, has been supported by people who never even met her, but still understand what this family is fighting for. That kind of attention doesn't happen by accident. It's been built by a family that refuses to stay quiet. With no real leverage except the truth and the attention surrounding it, they've managed to push this case into the spotlight. For 8 days straight, this story has stayed in national headlines, keeping pressure on investigators in a situation that could have easily been handled quietly and closed without much scrutiny. That matters. That's what it looks like when a family keeps pushing, keeps speaking, and refuses to accept silence as the final answer. And they're still not done. Not even close. 8 days have passed. Ashlee Robinson, 31 years old, with roots in South Jersey and a life she built in Miami, known for sharing her dream lifestyle online, has been gone for 8 days. Her body is still in Tanzania. Her family still doesn't have the autopsy results. The man who was there has not spoken publicly. The investigation is still ongoing. And now, her family is preparing to get on a plane and travel across the world themselves because the answers they've been asking for still haven't come to them. At this point, one thing is completely clear. They are not backing down, and they are not done fighting for the truth. I just know I need to keep moving forward. I'm never going to give up. I just want the truth out there. That's Harry Robinson speaking, and you can hear exactly what this means to him. A father who refuses to stop no matter how long this takes or how difficult it gets. And this story is not over, not even close. When those autopsy results are finally released, they will change everything, and this channel will be covering it immediately. When the family lands in Zanzibar and starts pushing for answers on the ground, we'll be watching every step of the way. And when the investigation takes its next turn, whatever that looks like, you'll hear it here. If you've been following this case, don't let the attention fade. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with others, and drop a comment saying Ashlee's name to keep her story alive.